And we are back at the table. I'm Clark Wolf.
I'm Marcy Smothers.
And this is the weekly radio show about all things food.
Brought to you from Sonoma County, not just wine country, farm country.
Our guest right now here in the studio is Paul Wallace. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you for having me, Clark and Marcy. Appreciate it.
It's good to see you. You know, you are part of the seed bank here, which is in Petaluma, which has 1,500 different varieties of seeds and all kinds of wonderful things. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But it comes from Baker Seeds, right? It comes from a Midwestern company.
It does indeed. Baker Creek Heirloom Seed was founded about 15 years ago in Mansfield, Missouri by Jeremiah Gettle, who at that time was 17 years of age.
Oh, my gosh.
So he used to save seeds in his bedroom and go to swap meets and with his dad. And then he started his first catalog. He put out about 200 catalogs to friends and family back about 15 years ago. And it's grown from that point now to where we have the bulk of the business is done online nationwide. We have 3 store locations, one in Mansfield, Missouri. Yeah. The second one we opened in June of 2009 in Petaluma. In an old bank building. We call it the Seed Bank. It's incredible.
The Seed Bank in an old bank, and it's absolutely exquisite. Folks, if you've never been there, not only do they have an extraordinary collection of seeds and all kinds of other good foods that we'll talk about in a minute, but they are connected to farmers all throughout the region.
And then the third location opened a year after in 2010 in Wethersfield, Connecticut. So we have one basically, you know, the left, the right, and the middle.
And what is the purpose? I mean, besides selling these wonderful seeds, which, by the way, I love, it's modern technology and ancient wisdom, right? You're online, but it's old seeds.
Right. Well, an heirloom is a variety that's handed down from generation to generation because it has a quality that people deem worth saving. In this day and age, where you have factory farms and you have genetically modified seed, and it's interesting to know that in this day and age in the U.S. today, over 90% of the corn and soy are controlled by chemical companies and are genetically modified and patented, which means people cannot save their seed even if they wanted to. So that's why we are primarily in existence, is to save varieties that would otherwise go extinct. Corn is one of the more difficult ones for us to source right now because corn wind pollinates. Yeah. So if you're growing corn and a neighbor's growing genetically modified corn, it's entirely possible that your corn crop could be contaminated, and then it's not possible to save the seed in the future. In fact, you can become sued by the patenteur of that genetically modified seed for patent infringement. It's nuts.
It's nuts. And the thing...
Sue them for unhealthy food.
That's going to happen, Marcy. That is actually, it's going to happen. We're going to start suing food companies the way we sued tobacco companies, because they're making food that they know is unhealthy. They know. We have proven these things. So the good news is, of course, I don't really like most of the things that are made out of corn.
Right.
And I like very few things that are made out of soy. So it works out really well. But watermelons, on the other hand.
Absolutely beautiful. And there are no genetically modified watermelons at this point in time.
That's great. So any watermelon I have is a good thing. I had one the other day that was orange fleshed with white seeds that came from a farmer who bought them from you. Bought the seeds from you.
That could have indeed have been an orange glow watermelon. Yep. It's a beautiful watermelon, and it grows well in this general area as well. We have at the seed bank about 1,600 varieties of seed.
Up from 14, folks.
Right. And in fact, right now in the basement of the seed bank, in the old bank vault, we're converting the vault to an actual seed bank. Oh. So we'll temperature and humidity control that room, and we'll be able to store about 4,000 varieties in the bank vault.
Do you give tours of that, Paul?
Yeah. We will be. Yeah, we do regular school tours with kids and this and that and in the media, and that will be a highlight of the tour.
Listen, if you want to tour the seed bank treasure, you need to come the second week of September to the Heirloom Expo, which is at the fairgrounds here in Sonoma County. Paul, this year, it was only your 4th year, is that right?
Correct, yeah.
It was the most, tell us really about it. I just love going to the Heirloom Expo, which, by the way, is not on a weekend when everybody else is doing everything. It's during Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Thousands of school children come. People from all over the region come. Some of the best food I have ever eaten at a fairground in my life.
I met people from several countries that were coming to the Heirloom Expo.
Tell us about it.
Sure. This year is the 4th year. About 15,000 people came from all over the world. We had 125 educational speakers speaking concurrently from 4 different speaker locations. It's like an old-fashioned fair without the rides, but the emphasis is on education. It's a family-friendly event.
Very.
And we have elements like giant pumpkin contest, about 4,000 varieties of produce on display. The speakers, as I mentioned, we have a livestock and poultry show. A kids' day. This year, we had about 3,000 school kids bust in for fun but educational activities on the kids' day, which this year was on the middle day. And it's interesting and fun to see the kids, walking around eating an apple or learning about where their food comes from, as opposed to playing with an iPad or something. Not there's anything wrong with the iPad.
Yeah, because you need to look up what kind of apple it is. What I loved is seeing the black tomatoes. I mean, first of all, I loved seeing a table that went on and on and on with every shape. There was one called a green Moldovan, and my family is from Moldova, and they were kind of green. And I love seeing all these different shapes and colors and sizes and flavors, but now there's one that's black.
It's amazing. And one of the developers of those dark tomatoes is a local farmer here. Well, when I say local, he's from Napa County.
I've heard of it.
Brad Gates.
Yeah.
Brad Gates, really good guy, good tomato developer.
Paul, we're going to come back for just another moment to talk to you about some of the foods that you can buy at the seed bank that come from these great things. But first, I want to tell you, Marcy, I've got to be honest with you. I am with you at the table.
I'm Marcy Smothers. We'll continue with Paul Wallace. You're listening to News Talk 1350 and the new FM 103.5 KSRO. And I want to get back to those black tomatoes.
Okay,
we have to hear more
absolutely,
about those.
they're delicious.
And we
They-
could talk about pairing wine with tomatoes too, just for a second.
Okay, all right.
And organic gardens.
And food.
And that's next at the table on KSRO.
Yep.